Someone hands you a pill, one swallow, and you'll be happy. Not for a day, not for a year, permanently. No crash, no side effects, no catch, just happiness, every waking moment, for the rest of your life. You'd take it, right? Here's the strange part. Most people wouldn't. For 50 years, philosophers have tested versions of this question, and the majority refuse. These aren't monks or ascetics. They're college students, office workers, people recruited on Amazon Mechanical Turk, people who spend their entire lives chasing happiness, and when it's offered to them, guaranteed no strings, they push it away. That seems like it should tell us something profound about human nature. But what if it doesn't? What if the reason you'd refuse has less to do with deep conviction and more to do with a cognitive bias you don't even know you have? This is a story about a pill that doesn't exist, a thought experiment that accidentally revealed how unreliable our instincts are, and the strange, counterintuitive truth about what your brain is really looking for when it tells you it wants to be happy. The case for taking the pill is almost impossible to argue with. You choose your career, your partner, your city, what you're having for dinner. Every decision is at some level a happiness calculation. A philosopher named Jeremy Bentham put it bluntly 200 years ago. More pleasure, less pain. That's the whole game. By that math, refusing the pill isn't brave or deep, it's just bad arithmetic. And it gets worse. In 1978, a psychologist named Philip Brickman studied lottery winners, people who'd gotten the thing everyone dreams about, and found their happiness had drifted back to roughly where it started. He called it the hedonic treadmill. You adapt. The new car stops feeling new. The promotion becomes your normal. You keep running and the finish line keeps moving. Now that study is famous, but it only had 22 winners and nearly half the people they contacted didn't respond. The treadmill is real, but the original evidence was far shakier than the legend it became. So here's a pill that stops the treadmill. No more chasing, no more adapting. Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel laureate, spent decades showing that we are spectacularly bad at predicting what will make us feel good. We pick the wrong careers, move to the wrong cities, chase the wrong milestones. And now someone is handing us the answer, guaranteed. So why does something in you recoil? In 1974, a philosopher named Robert Nozick came up with an experiment that's haunted ethics classrooms ever since. He called it the experience machine. You can plug into a machine that simulates a perfect life, fall in love, write great novels, climb mountains. It feels completely real. You'll never know you're inside. Nozick was sure you'd refuse, because you don't just want to feel like you're living. You want to actually do things, actually be someone. Not, his exact words, an indeterminate blob in a tank. For decades, that seemed to settle the question. Most people said no. Case closed. Then, in 2010, a researcher at Duke named Felipe de Brigard had an idea nobody had tried. What if he flipped it? Instead of asking people whether they'd plug in, he told them they were already inside. 72 participants, already living in the simulation. And then he asked, "Would you unplug?" Barely half said yes, and when he told another group that their real life outside was as a prisoner in maximum security, 13% wanted out. 13 out of 100. Nozick's grand proof that we value reality over pleasure. It was starting to look less like philosophy and more like status quo bias. We don't love reality. We just love whatever we already have. And then it got worse. In 2018, two researchers named Hindriks and Douven ran the experiment again, but changed a single word. Instead of machine, they said pill. Same effect, same permanence. With the machine, most people chose reality. With the pill, more than half took it. The majority said yes. 20 points swung on one word. Our grand conviction about authentic experience might just be fear of wires in our skulls. And if something in you shifted just now, hearing pill instead of machine, what does that tell you? So maybe the refusal is bias. But there's a version of this argument that doesn't need intuition at all. Viktor Frankl was an Austrian psychiatrist who survived Nazi concentration camps. In 1946, he quoted Nietzsche, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." The prisoners who held on weren't the strongest. They were the ones with a reason, a book to finish, a person to find. Aristotle had a word for what Frankl was describing: eudaimonia, not happiness, flourishing, not something you feel, something you build. We don't have to imagine the happiness pill. A partial version already exists. Tens of millions of people take SSRIs, antidepressants that lift the floor on your worst days. They work. For many, they're life-saving. But patients keep describing the same thing. The lows get better, and the highs go quiet. The grief fades, but so does the thrill. About half report what researchers call emotional blunting. Your brain becomes less responsive to pain, which is the point, but it becomes less responsive to joy too. The pill doesn't just cut the lows, it dims everything. Think about the happiest moment you can remember, not the one you planned, the one that ambushed you. It probably happened sideways while you were with someone or lost in something that mattered. You weren't thinking about happiness. You just were. A psychologist named Iris Mouse proved this in a lab. She primed people to want happiness, and they enjoyed joyful moments less. The wanting pushed the feeling away. And when she tested it across cultures, the paradox only showed up where people chase happiness alone. Where they chase it through other people, it worked. In 2004, a neuroscientist named Richard Davidson put 128 sensors on a Buddhist monk named Mathieu Ricard and watched what happened when he meditated. Ricard's brain produced gamma waves at levels no one had ever recorded. The region linked to positive emotion lit up so far past normal that the team rechecked their equipment. The press called him the happiest man alive. He wasn't meditating on happiness. He was meditating on compassion, focused entirely on the suffering of other people. In Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, there's a character called the Savage who's offered a society of permanent chemical happiness, and he refuses with a line that's haunted readers since 1932. He says, "I claim the right to be unhappy." The World Controller lists what that right includes: disease, poverty, fear, pain. Every ugly thing the pill would erase. And the Savage says, "I claim them all." So would you take the pill? I can't tell you your refusal is wisdom. De Brigard's data is real. Change one word and people flip. Maybe it is just bias, but every person who found what that pill promises was looking somewhere else when it arrived. Building something, loving someone, sitting in a lab, focused on the suffering of strangers. Maybe the pill works. Maybe it gives you everything it promises. But the people who already have what it's selling, they never would have asked for it.